Hello and welcome to another North Midlands area of NAFAS mini demonstrations. For those of you who've not met me before, my name's Lynne Sharpe and I'm an area demonstrator. And finally, spring has sprung, the clocks have gone forward and the sun is out and shining beautifully bright today. And Easter is nearly upon us too. So today I'm going to demonstrate two designs that are foam free on this seasonal theme. So my first design will be coming out of this small wicker ring, and as a flower arranger you've probably got these lurking around in your sheds and garages. I've had this for a number of years, and yes, it did come from car boot land. For those of you who know me, you know I'm a avid fan of recycling things and buying them from car boots. So you'll see that there's a number of holes all the way around this, and they've been created by me popping in these plastic tubes. I get these, they come with orchids and anthuriums, and as a demonstrator you can imagine I get through quite a number of these, and I don't like to throw them away, I like to keep them, and they've been, you know, really useful for this design. So I've taken a dowel, created the hole and then popped them in. I've then cut them a little bit short underneath for two reasons. The first off, they create feet, so they're elevating the design, and then the second reason I will show you shortly. So what I'm going to add next is some very tactile of the sisal, so it's quite durable material this, isn't it? And I've just made it into little loops, so to me they look like little nests. So I've got a number of those to go on each of the plastic little tubes, just as little collars. And then I've been busy in the garden. I've got a number of seasonal pots, and they're bursting with colour and texture of some primulas, and I've got some violas, forget-me-nots, pulmonaria, moscato, the grape hyacinth, and some of the little daffodils there, tate-a-tate. And I've put those in a smaller water carrier, added the water in, made them into a little bunch and tied them with some natural jute. So this is the second reason why I have already pushed those test tubes in there, is because that these are going to sit in those, because what happens is these will make it much easier to lift them out to keep topping up the water. Whereas if we were to take the whole ring and water, it might get a little bit problematic and a bit fiddly and so on. This just makes it so much easier to add them in and then water them as well. They're quite secure in there, like so. And then because we're approaching Easter, I thought I'd add in that little Easter rhythm. So I have some little, and these are plastic little eggs. So a little bit like my Christmas decorations, I have a box of Easter decorations, and you'll see these around me. I've got my Easter egg tree there, and I've got some bunnies and so on. So I've just inserted a little cocktail stick in there, and then they hopefully will very easily thread into the wicker ring. And again, you could just keep this springified and not add in the eggs. Now you could do two things with this ring as a welcome design. You could have this outside in your garden, and you could pop it on your patio table and then pop your umbrella in the middle there. as we're welcoming people back in, visitors into our gardens. That would be nice to greet them. But I'm actually going to hang this up. So just to keep in with the theme of the natural jute I've used, I've got a longer piece there, and I'm just going to thread it through. And then I've got a ribbon. Here's one I made earlier into a bow. And just thread that through and anchor it round. And then I can lift it up like so. And that becomes my hanging welcome ring. There we go. And then for my second design, I've got this large bowl. Now this hasn't come out of Car Boot Land. This is something that I've purchased. But this is going to be my water source for this design. Because on top of it, I've got this larger ring. And again, it's a really tactile texture. So that sits quite well on top of there. So again, an all-round design. You could pop this on a tray, again for a table and so on. Now my flowers for this design, again keeping in the spring theme, I've got this double variety of daffodil here. These are British grown. And having the frame creates a really good structure to support the daffodils, because these heads are quite heavy. So I'm just threading them all the way round. So they sit quite nicely in there. These remind me of water lilies, this variety. But also they're saying that the sunshine is out. So hopefully you can see that this is quite a quick design to achieve. Threading those in there. And then I have some euonymus, and this variety is called Greyfly. And again, I'm just threading that in at different intervals. It's quite a shiny texture in contrast to the matte texture of the ring and the daffodils. The daffodil there. There we go. And then I've in my shed I've come across these little polystyrene mushrooms, toadstools. Now these are a number of years old, so again they come out at this time of year, and again very easily threaded in. And they create some rhythm there with the design because of the orange tones of the centres of the daffodils. You could of course use real mushrooms and thread those in as well. And then just to keep that Easter theme going, I'm going to add some eggs. So I've got some of the eggshells. Here's one I made earlier. So I've cracked it open and taken the inside out and made a very nice yummy omelette with them. And again, I'm just going to sit these on the top there, pop some water in, and then out of the garden I've got some little primula heads and primrose heads. I'm just going to sit those in so the water supports them quite nicely, and I've got some little heads from the hyacinth, so lovely perfumes coming out of this design. And then there's a number of other Easter eggs there. So again, we've got hopefully lots of rhythm going on. And as I say, different textures. To go all the way round. So they sit quite nicely in there, quite secure. And then I could leave that empty, of course, in the middle, but I'm going to add another little part to it. And here's one of the hurricane vases. This I did get from Car Bootland, and I've got some shredded paper in there, recycling that, and then I've got a number of plastic eggs. But of course you could use the chicken eggs. I like to use those. Again, the colours link in with that of the daffodils. And just pop that in the middle, and then add some water. So there we go, there's my 2 foam-free designs. So I hope that's given you some inspiration to create something similar for this seasonal time of year. Thank you.